Welcome back to the deep dive. We gather up a whole stack of sources, look through them, and pull out the really key insights for you.
That's the plan.
And today, gosh, we're tackling two huge topics, really enduring human goals. How do you build wealth? And maybe even trickier, how do you find real happiness?
Yeah, and there's just so much advice floating around, isn't there? Everywhere you look.
Exactly. It floods your feed. So how do you actually, cut through all that noise?
Well, for this deep dive, we've zeroed in on a source that does a pretty amazing job of it.
We're looking at Naval Ravikant's wisdom, Wealth and Happiness Distilled. Now, this isn't really a standard book.
No, not at all.
It's this best-selling collection, basically, of Naval Ravikant's sharpest thoughts. They're pulled together from, well, everywhere: tweets, interviews, essays.
Right, and it really distills his whole philosophy down into these very accessible bits of text, almost like those punchy tweets he's famous for.
So our mission today is just that, isn't it? To pull out the most important nuggets from this specific collection.
Focusing squarely on those two pillars, wealth and happiness.
Mhm.
And the book itself, it was kind of put together as a public service, really, to make these dense ideas easy to grab, easy to absorb, like a curated wisdom stream.
And I think that's what makes it so interesting, especially, if you like getting insights quickly, efficiently.
Definitely. It's got this reputation for high insight per minute.
Yeah, exactly. It just gives you the core wisdom, no fluff. People really praise its lean style, how impactful the ideas are. It's not telling a story, it's just condensed thought.
Pure signal.
So, okay, let's start peeling back the layers. When we look at wealth through Naval's eyes, he kind of lays out these three core concepts.
Specific knowledge, leverage, and judgment leading to freedom.
Right. And the one that jumps out at me straight away, talking about wealth, is his take on leverage, specifically permissionless leverage.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
That's a game changer.
Uh,
Because his view on leverage goes way beyond just, labor or capital, the traditional stuff. He brings in this really powerful idea. He says, code and media are permissionless leverage. They're the leverage behind the newly rich.
right.
You can create software and media that works for you while you sleep. And that just completely reframes things, doesn't it?
It really does.
It shifts the focus. You don't necessarily need someone's permission or huge amounts of capital anymore. You build something once code, media, and it can scale almost infinitely.
The barrier to entry is just so much lower, and the potential reach is, well, global.
Oh, exactly.
That is such a profound way to think about creating value today. But, okay, how would maybe someone in a more, let's say, traditional job, even start thinking about applying that?
Well, it forces you to ask, what can I create once that keeps working without me constantly tinkering with it?
Okay.
Maybe it's automating some part of your job, maybe developing a really niche online course, or even just consistently writing a blog that builds an audience over time.
So it's about building assets, things that grow in value and impact without needing your direct hour-by-hour input or someone else saying yes.
That's the core of it.
Yeah.
Assets that compound, free from constant permission seeking.
And that ties in so well with another brilliant point he makes about wealth. Escape competition through authenticity.
Oh, absolutely. Love that one.
Because if you're genuinely just being yourself, building on your unique interests, who can really compete with that? Like, find your unique thing, then amplify it with this new leverage.
Perfectly put. Your authenticity becomes your defense, your moat. And linking that back, it's all about building that unique combination of skills and insights,
Yeah.
what he calls specific knowledge.
Right, the stuff you can't just learn from a textbook.
Exactly. It comes from your unique experiences, your curiosity. Maybe you deeply understand, I don't know, biotech, and you have a talent for digital marketing.
A combination that's just you.
It's incredibly hard to replicate or teach someone else. And that's where you find real differentiation. That's how you avoid just being a commodity.
Okay, so we've got this powerful framework for, let's call it external success for wealth building. But now let's shift gears to something maybe even deeper, more personal: happiness.
Ah, yes, the other side of the coin.
The book really dives into this, framing happiness almost as a skill, something you can actually cultivate.
Which is already a bit counterintuitive for many.
Right. And his definition here really challenges how we usually think about it. He defines happiness as simply the state when nothing is missing.
Wow. Yeah, that just stops you in your tracks, doesn't it?
It completely reframes contentment.
It does. And that redefinition, it really pushes us towards cultivating presence, gratitude. It's not passive.
It sounds like active work almost.
It often requires consciously stepping away from that constant societal pressure of more, more,
The
more.
next thing, the bigger house, the better vacation.
Exactly. It might mean just finding the value in, say, a simple walk outside or a quiet evening with people you care about, instead of always chasing the next big achievement or purchase.
So it's about building intentional habits that lead to satisfaction inside you, regardless of what's happening outside.
Yes, an internal shift. And often that involves letting go of expectations, desires.
That idea alone, honestly, feels like hitting a reset button. It suggests applying that compound thinking idea not just to money, but maybe to relationships, reputation, personal growth,
Hmm.
moving away from this exhausting, linear sort of hustle culture.
Yeah. So how do some of the mental models he offers fit into this? Like, if you can't decide, the answer is no. How does that help cultivate judgment and freedom?
Well, those simple rules, they aren't just random tips. They're like tools, mental models, to help build that greater judgment he talks about.
Okay.
If you can't decide, the answer is no.
That just cuts through indecision, right? It protects your time, your energy, stops you getting stuck.
Makes sense. Saves a lot of dithering.
And then there's the one, if you're torn between two paths, choose the one with more short-term pain but less long-term suffering.
Oof, that one requires some foresight.
It does. It forces you to think long-term, which is crucial for, well, both lasting wealth and deeper well-being. But what's interesting, as you noted, is that even with these profound insights, the book isn't really a how-to guide with checklists.
Right, that's a really important thing to manage expectations on. If you're looking for like a 7-step plan for investing or starting a business, this isn't it.
Definitely not. It's much more a primer on his worldview, a set of lenses to look at the world and yourself through.
And yeah, some advice might feel specific, like setting a personal hourly rate to value your time, but the core thinking behind it is valuable no matter where you are in life.
Which actually makes it really good for, say, people early in their careers, maybe students trying to figure things out, 20s, early 30s.
Or just anyone new to Naval's thinking wanting an introduction.
Absolutely. And its structure, the fact that it's not linear, is actually a huge plus for lifelong learners.
You mean because you can dip in and out?
Exactly. You pick it up, read a few sections, put it down, then come back later when your life's changed a bit, and suddenly those same sections hit differently. You find new relevance. It's not a one-and-done read.
So wrapping this up then, what's the big takeaway from digging into this collection? We've touched on building that specific knowledge, understanding leverage, especially that permissionless code and media kind.
Crafting judgment, seeking freedom.
And maybe most importantly, rethinking and cultivating happiness. It really does feel like a great resource for a mental reset or just a quick guide for reflection, something you can keep coming back to.
I agree. It's dense with insights on that specific knowledge piece, on harnessing different kinds of leverage, particularly digital, and, crucially, on that liberating idea that happiness is something you choose, something you build internally, not just something that happens to you.
It empowers you to define success your own way.
It really does.
Yeah.
So this deep dive, ultimately, it was for you if you're in that space of rethinking what success, money, and, well, fulfillment actually mean.
Yeah.
Whether you're starting out or you've been learning for years, its bite-sized, impactful format makes it perfect to revisit as life unfolds and new questions pop up.
Okay, so as we finish, here's something to maybe mull over, drawing right from what we've discussed. Given that idea that happiness is the state when nothing is missing, what's one small, intentional habit you could start today, maybe just to detach a little from what society expects and find more contentment with what you already have?
That's a powerful question.
Or alternatively, think about that concept of compound thinking. How could you apply that not just to your finances, but maybe to your relationships or your own self-improvement to build greater freedom and better judgment over the long haul? Something to ponder.